he still has a chance to make it to the LAN. But enough of that. Now we're going to have, I think you may have heard of him, Grubby.
Yeah, I've heard his name being thrown around a bit sometimes in esports for several years.
Yeah, he is. He's the nice guy of esports. He is the Dutch hero, and we're going to have him up against KS.RainMan on the first map here, Star Station.
Yeah, I think I've seen this matchup once, but it's been a long while. And yeah, well, Star Station actually a very cool PvZ map. Looking to see what kind of strategies these players will employ. But without further ado, here in the top left, from Team Grubby, I guess, it's Grubby. And in the top right, from Team Knights Gaming, it's RainMan. RainMan is actually one of the longest active players of Team Knights, along Moby1. And he's playing really on and off in ladder, but always manages to pretty much consistently get Grandmaster. So, ever since Wings of Liberty. So he's a solid player, and I'm not sure if Grubby has a lot of experience playing against him.
I'm not sure how much experience he has playing against him either, but he definitely has a lot of experience playing in the PvZ matchup. And
oh, of course.
I don't know what he's going to go for here, because it's kind of hard to take third on this map as a Protoss.
Yeah, it also kind of depends on this map was played, because Grubby's style really fluctuated a lot in the previous couple of weeks, so to speak. We've seen him love Oracle play in early game, and then he started to experiment with, a lot of Protoss started to experiment with Naniwa's Gateway Expand, even though it was kind of deemed not as good, a bit of a one-trick pony build perhaps. But we're going to see for sure. Let me just put it this way: I don't necessarily hope Grubby wins this series, but I do really hope to see him at the finals.
Yeah, so do I, to be honest. But keep in mind, people who lose these series, they still have another chance to go at it. This is the winners bracket finals, so they drop down to play, well, people like Rhett, stuff like that, in the losers bracket finals. So it's not necessarily end of the game for them. But we're seeing RainMan here taking a hatch first, which is a little bit greedy.
Yeah, Grubby loves to punish that kind of stuff, but he's actually going for a gateway and then double gas. So you might very well see a very heavy tech opening from Grubby. Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to see it. Oh, actually putting two
each
gas. In the gas.
It looks like Gateway Expand with the Mothership core, which is kind of normal. Although you can very quickly switch it up and go and put some pressure on, which I don't know if he's going to do, because he isn't scouting.
So in terms of scouting, RainMan, he hasn't drone scouted, and his first Overlord went the wrong way. So he's going to take, well, from this, looking at this, it's going to take another 30-40 seconds before his Overlord gets a scout off. Assuming, of course, that Grubby is going to, expand it all, because if he wants to, he could just throw down a couple more gates and do a plain old 4-gate, but I don't think that's what we're going to see from him.
Yeah, I don't think so either, especially since he skipped that first edit. Waits till the call finishes and immediate Mothership call, so...
And...
Nexus,
and the Nexus and the warp gate. RainMan is going to spot this. At the same time, Grubby should have seen it, where this Overlord was coming from, and is now going to, find the wall off here at the front with a pylon. And he's actually playing completely blind here at this point, He hasn't sent a probe out at all to scout. So, of course, RainMan could get away with this 15 hatch into 14 pool. Now finishing up first 100 gas and immediately starts link speed.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised at that at all, especially with the Gateway Expand. Any pressure can be thrown at you immediately. And these lings thought about trying to get in there.
Yeah.
Good zoning out by the Mothership core.
Yeah, they could have easily gone in.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to watch, sorry. But we now have essentially first out for Grubby. I wouldn't say that's greedy, but if you're investing in gas heavily early on, then you want to get a sentry, because you can start saving up as much energy as you want at the start of the game.
And I'm wondering what he's doing with the sentry. He wants to zone out these two lings, but the sentry kind of thinks it's a marine, so it's just running around the map like, oh, it's cool, I'm expendable and I have high DPS.
Yeah, don't sentries and marines have like identical DPS? Provided they're not stimmed.
Yeah, they have the same DPS at the start of the game. The problem is, like, one costs 100 gas, the other's just 50 minerals.
Oh, okay. So, looking at RainMan's build, he hasn't taken a third yet and has actually opted for, another Roach Warren, but not a second gas. So, of course, Grubby is going to spot the fact that there is no third at this point, which kind of means to me that RainMan intends to stay on 2 base to defend this. In which case, Grubby should not attack with this Gateway Expand. you know, it just doesn't add up because RainMan will have too many roaches. He only has to defend one front really. It's not going to be as exciting, and he actually spots the forward pylon here by Grubby.
Yeah, and he is pushing out across the map. I don't know if it's just going to be a pressure. Yeah, because he's got hallucinated zealots. He's going to poke and try and force some units, which he has done, and then recall with the mothership core.
Over one sentry immediately gets picked off. So does the second one. Only one force field lands, but not too much. Nice micro here with the stalkers and the sentries trying to counter back as much as possible. More weapons coming in. Actually, well, RainMan is actually losing all of his roaches almost.
Yeah, those two zealots did tank a lot of damage, but Grubby did lose 3 sentries there in exchange for those roaches. But I agree with you. I don't know why he decided to push in there. It's 2 base versus 2 base. Go home, but. He's pulling it off now and he's moving out, but
here comes the surround and Grubby's gonna have to... Oh, he doesn't have money for the energy for the mass recall yet. He overcommitted. He's getting completely surrounded against this wall, warping in more zealots as much as he can. But well, Grubby's just gonna... Well, oh, these zealots actually going the town quite well, but the roaches and the queens are actually gonna take out the mothership core. Yeah, he can mass recall now if he wants to.
Yeah, and I think he should simply save the mothership core, and there we go. He does do that, and... You were saying he shouldn't push in if it's 2 base on 2 base, and well, RainMan showed you exactly why he shouldn't have pushed in there.
Yeah, it's you know, at this point he really has to transition probably into Robo because his opponent has roaches and is currently marching them across the map. And yeah, he did manage to get his mothership core out, you know, alive, so he will have a photon overcharge in time. RainMan on the other hand is not producing. Well, he's actually starting 2 drones as I speak, but he's getting a third. And he's probably going to do some aggression here if these roaches are links.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a poke though, trying to force that photon overcharge and then retreat again.
Yeah, there's no energy though for it yet, so it's going to be even harder for Grubby to, you know, to hold this off.
Yeah, and there we go. We're seeing the Protoss wall working against him. The units can't quite funnel out correctly, and Link seeing an opportunity and going for it, but I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah, Grubby maintaining all of his sentries and still has a few force fields. RainMan trying to go down on this, you know, on this army and manages to take out the final, but not a cost-efficient trade at all. Yeah, I don't think running your links in through a small gap like there when there are force fields against the top-level European pro gamer is the most smart move to make.
You could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to bait out the army with just the roaches and then rush the speedlings in behind. The problem is that Grubby had already pulled back in by the time he rushed forward, and it just didn't work out. First model is almost done though. So. Yes,
and he's going up into robotics bay as soon as possible. RainMan has got his 3rd base up, but he's only just transferring his drones. So at the 10-minute mark, his economy hasn't exploded or anything. They're both completely equal in supply, even though, you know, RainMan of course has more room to grow. You know, get another base, get more drones. He's stacking up, you know, weapon upgrades. Whereas Grubby, I don't think he even has a forge.
No, it does not appear that he has one at all. He's just going into Robo trying to survive after that early push failed. And going into Roach Hydra, do you think this is going to be completely viable against this kind of Robo build without the Vipers?
Well, without Vipers it's definitely going to be harder, but I think RainMan, if he drones correctly and just plays economically and, you know, it spots this coming in time, he should be able to defend this. But there's a lot of sentries actually here for Grubby, so with good force fields and Colossus micro, we can do, you know, we can make quite an effective push.
Actually, with that sentry count and the 2 immortals, it almost looks like an immortal sentry all in if you rewind the clock a little bit. But big army, and it looks like he's going to go for a 2 base push. 3rd too hard to take on this map, decides against it, and with 1 Colossus without range, he's going to try and go for this now.
I'm not sure if anyone saw that from the watchtower. He managed to kill the Ling. Grubby managed to kill the Ling there with his mothership core. Keep in mind that having the mothership core is a big deal. +1 weapon center has now actually finished for the range units of RainMan, which is of course another really big deal. And there's only 1 Colossus out on the field, and it doesn't have range. No. So the force fields, they just have to be perfect.
Force fields and time warps need to be perfect because those Hydras match the range of the Colossus. It sounds ridiculous as I say it, but it is true. That is why you need the thermal lance, and with the creep spread being this good, like, he's going to walk onto it now, and the Zerg can reposition and surround quite comfortably from this.
Oh, he's probably going to darn into the natural and try and get force fields off. Decent force fields here, but he still has quite a few more. And yeah, the Hydras are just, you know, the main DPS, the main meat of the army. Of course, Grubby once again slicing, but this is what RainMan wants. He wants to throw down forcing to throw down a couple of force fields. Finally, the army cut in half. Link's running in, getting slaughtered actually. Nice time warps here, delaying the roaches from getting closer. Colossus doing good DPS. Immortal's not focusing, firing down the roaches. I think another big stalker warp in from Grubby. He needs more force fields to hold off these Hydras.
Oh, drone pull is always a bad time for the Zerg, and it looks like Grubby is going to take this. He just has too many stalkers, and that Colossus is doing such good splash damage.
Oh wow, this is such a good attack here by Grubby. Doing this, oh, Hydra's doing so much damage. Colossus is taking a lot of damage, but it looks like it's gonna live. Another warp in. Supplies are dead equal actually.
Yeah, supplies are dead equal, but keep in mind he has a lot of that in drones. Look at these stalkers and the Immortal. I mean, that's such a overlord. And here we go, drones being pulled. Not enough zealots to really deal with them, so good work.
Oh, the drone's actually doing a really good job here, tanking for the roaches, and the Hydras doing a lot of DPS. Grubby being forced to pull back once again, doing another warp in of zealots so they can tank quite a bit more. Once again moving forward with this very low Stalker HP army, and here we go, roaches hugging the Stalkers, trying to do as much damage as possible, and it might just be...
I think RainMan's got this.
I think it's gonna hold.
Yeah, because of the creep, he can just kite the zealots, making them ineffective, and the Protoss army can't really retreat here. What has Grubby to go back on now? Zerg has a third base.
Yeah, keep in mind though that RainMan did lose a lot of drones, and he's actually behind in terms of income compared to Grubby, but Grubby has not been able to capitalize on this push and take a third base. So both are quite battered and bruised. RainMan in the economics department, whereas Grubby has, well, he kind of lost his entire army.
I think what really made that battle for the Zerg there was the creep spread, because the Protoss initial push didn't get rid of the creep spread, so he could keep baiting out force fields, and it just meant that the Zerg could reposition very quickly, which saved a lot of his units from those force fields in time warp.
Yeah, I agree. Grubby once again trying to engage, gets a nice time warp in, has his Colossus in shape, a nice force field here, but Brent's Hydra is quite well away, targeting down actually that Colossus, which takes a lot of damage. Well, this engagement not going too well here for Grubby as well, but a nice warp in surrounding these Hydralisks.
Yeah, they are, and oh, he lost so many there to those.
He lost so many
force fields.
Great force fields here by Grubby, and he still has his original mothership core, losing quite a few zealots now to the pickoffs of RainMan. And yeah, you're completely right about the creep spread. Like Grubby, he wins the engagement off the creep spread, and he's slowly decreasing the amount there is. But on creep spread, the roaches and Hydras just outmaneuver his army.
Yeah, he does need to be more patient because the Zerg can't drone up behind this. He is ahead on worker count, so he needs to just keep slowly adding more units, pushing the creep spread back, and it's just going to limit the mobility of the entire Zerg army and stop him from sniping key units like the Colossus and Immortals.
Exactly. We have a lot of sentries again, once again on the map. 8 sentries with about roughly as much force fields. He's got an observer in place, so we can see just roughly how his opponent's army is. And looking at the supplies, Grubby's army is actually vastly superior to RainMan, who is transitioned into pure roach.
Yeah, he doesn't have the economy really to support Hydras, and here we go. Force fields going down, not the best, but there we go, those are much
perfect
better.
Force fields, man. He's boxed those roaches in beautifully.
And on the right hand side, the Zealots tearing apart those roaches. Oh, brilliant force fields here, and
so good. And RainMan, showing why you can't go pure roach against this type of Protoss army at this stage in the game. Grubby now pushing into the natural, should be able to force field off the natural ramp if he wants to. Zealots slicing up these roaches and Hydras, and well, after a complete roller coaster of the game where he got beaten back time and time again, it looks like Grubby is going to prevail in this match and take out Knights of RainMan.
There's the GG, and RainMan taps out, but wow, just
what a game.
The stuff we're seeing from these players here is just absolutely